Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Once again, a nice one. I'm not talking about yoga today. I'm actually gonna do that video over. I made one, about 2 weeks ago, and I decided to do it over in light of the new year. I want to talk about something else though. Maybe a month ago. I haven't been on these YouTube streets for very long. But maybe anywhere from 2 weeks to a month ago, I was in a chat and I was talking to someone and there was no beef. But instead of calling me Shree, Shree, they typed Shrew, Shrew. I didn't take offense to it at all. It made me think, actually. And I was like, Shrew. Do I mind being called a shrew? The Taming of the Shrew. That was a play by William Shakespeare. And as a child in my day, when we went to school, we had to actually read Shakespeare and do book reports and things like this on Shakespeare. I don't know if the millennials and the young children today have to do such things, but excuse me, I did, especially in high school. Excuse me. That's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the term shrew. All right. And when I wanted to do this upload back then, I looked up this information, but kind of didn't fit yet in my mind. So I put it off to the side. And after the new year came up, it just came back to me. And I was like, let's look at this again. So I went to Wikipedia, y'all. I didn't have to go too far. And I clicked on shrew. And what I reread was so interesting. So let's start from the beginning. The shrew, Shrew, an unpleasant, ill-tempered woman, characterized by scolding, nagging, and aggression. Is a comedic stock character in literature and folklore, both Western and Eastern. The figure represents insubordinate female behavior in a marital system of polarized gender roles that is male-dominated in a moral hierarchy. Let's keep going. As a reference to actual women, rather than the stock character, shrew is considered old-fashioned, and the synonym scold, as a noun, not as a verb, is archaic. The term shrew is still used to describe the stock character in fiction and folk storytelling. None of these terms are usually applied to males in modern English, and we will get to that most definitely. See, I'm just reading straight through. Now, before we go any further, because we're going to talk about the shrew taming plot, okay? And we're going to talk about folklore and literature. Now, most of the literature that you read now are either fiction or not, right? When you watch the news, there is a middle ground, okay? And what I mean to say is that literature nowadays is very extreme. And the level of propaganda, moral, whatever, is pretty much gone. So that's why I say the news is kind of the folklore of today, because folklore back in the days before television was used to instill certain moral values of that time or of that area. Okay, that's why the shrew is known in both Eastern and Western cultures. Hey, there are men and women everywhere, right? Yay. What I'm saying for those of you who do not quite understand was that stories back in the days were not told, I don't know, from the heart, or you just have that gift of gab and, you got a Pulitzer Prize for writing a whole bunch of stories. That didn't happen back in the day. Either you were imparting knowledge or you were feeding somebody propaganda. Like, this is the moral code. This is the standard you should go by. And since they didn't really have anybody telling you direct, well, they kind of did. In order to pass it around, they told a story that everybody related to. I think that's similar to Jesus speaking in parables, because parables don't tell you exactly what to do. They're made in the form of a story for you to get it, right? So the stereotype or cliche, which is what it is, was common in the mid to early 20th century films. And in present day, what a shrew was kind of shifted, especially with feminism. That whole feminist movement thing, the suffrage movement. Once that came into place, what a shrew looked like changed. Okay? So, during the 16th through 18th centuries, being a common scold, like I said, that's the noun for being a shrew, very synonym, was once a petty criminal offense in the early modern law of England and Wales, and also of colonial New England. I assume they're talking about Americas. Punishments varied by region, but were usually meant to humiliate the guilty party. And I won't discuss those because I don't feel like looking them up, okay? And I wasn't there and I don't care. Let's get to the shrew taming plot, shall we? A common central theme in such literature and folk tales is often forceful taming of shrewish wives by their husbands. Okay? The taming process begins immediately after the marriage and does not last long. Sometimes only the wedding night itself. Now let's pause for a moment. A woman with shrewish or other negative qualities include laziness, okay? And poor men would marry shrews instead of paying dowry. All right. Okay, let's go back. That's why that first sentence was kind of important. The taming process involves denial of intimacy by the husband to the bride, and often also has several other features, including coercion, i.e. by violence, sleep deprivation, and or starvation to induce submission, and psychological manipulation, the abuse of animals, usually cats, in front of the wife. Capitulation by the shrew happens suddenly. She transforms into a model wife, and the couple live happily ever after. A variant suggests that the taming must be done early, because if not, the wife will see that the husband is a punk ass and it won't work. Okay? I'm saying that in our terms, not theirs. So many other elements of the shrew taming process includes denial of food through trickery. And there were other psychological manipulations without animal abuse, which probably would include, derision and calling her out her name, things like this. If you go to William Shakespeare's play, you'll figure it all out and you'll get it. Let's move on. Elements of the shrew taming plot are still used today, though with less patriarchal messages since the rise of feminism. Okay? The shrew is basically a female who is just disagreeable. But now after feminism, they have much more agency. And now being a shrew is something positive. Okay? Let's keep going. In Elizabethan England, shrew was widely used to refer to women and wives who did not fit into the social role that was expected of them. You can have a scolding, shrewish tongue instead of being a shrew. Okay? More modern labels include battle axe and dragon lady, termagant, harpy, and fury. Shrew derives from Middle English for evil or scolding person, used since at least the 11th century. Usually, in Old English, a shrew described an animal. And cognates in other Germanic languages have divergent meanings, including fox, dwarf, old man, and devil. Historically, the animals called shrews were superstitiously feared, falsely believed to have a venomous bite, and to behave aggressively and with cruelty, leading to the now obsolete word beshrew, which means to curse or invoke evil upon. Beginning in the mid-13th century, following the belief that the animals could exert a wicked influence on humans exposed to them, the term was applied metaphorically to a person of either sex, thought to have a similar disposition, but by the 14th century, it applied to women alone. This also led to a now obsolete verb usage, to shrew, meaning to scold. Okay? By the middle 16th century, the opposing extremes of wifely personality traits were contrasted as shrew versus sheep. Wow. In the 1755, a dictionary of the English language, the definition of shrew is applied to people as peevish, malignant, clamorous, spiteful, vexatious, turbulent, woman. He described, and they're talking about the author of the dictionary in the English language, Samuel Johnson. He described the use of the word in reference to males as ancient, but also quoted Shakespeare using it to satirize a man by likening him to a shrewish woman. Ooh. As a synonym for the shrew in literature and theater, the word termagant derives from the name Termagant, an invented mock Muslim male deity used in medieval mystery plays, characterized as violent and overbearing. I'll put a link for Termagant in my description because I want to find out what kind of mock Muslim they talking about. Okay. The name was genericized into a term referring to male characters with ranting, bullying personalities. Ooh, well, I don't want to talk about Shakespeare right now, but it's kind of nice what they say. Let's go. The similar term, haridan, widely also considered a synonym for shrew, originated as late as 17th century slang term for aging prostitute, probably from the 16th century French haridel, old horse, in metaphor, a gaunt, ill-favored woman. It has taken on the meaning of scolding, nagging, bossy, belligerent woman, especially an older one, and is not tied to literary context. Sorry, y'all, I need to drink some water. There we go. And then it talks about how the noun scold is also a synonym to shrew, and it became a verb towards the late 14th century. All right, and then it became like, and the term for scold or scalding and burning is totally different from this version of the word. Johnson's 18th century definition of a shrew is a clamorous, rude, mean, low, foul-mouthed woman, suggesting a level of vulgarity and a class distinction from the more generalized shrew, but this nuance has been lost. And common scold was referred to rude and brawling women. And they also claimed that most shrews were witches. So with that being said, I want to tell you of a quote that I was told a long time ago. And I think it applied to women more than men. When they call you mean, it's because you're honest. And when they call you crazy, it's because you're smart. See, that doesn't apply to all women, of course. But we have to remember that in this day and age, right, even though a lot of that old school, old English patriarchal society type things are still around, right? This whole feminine energy shift has somehow turned the shrew around, right? There's plenty of shrews out there. There's plenty of female shrews out there, but there are also plenty of male shrews out there. I mean, if you think about it, the whole New York City is based on a shrew mentality, especially even now that it was voted the rudest city in the country. I don't know how that can happen in 2018 or 2019, because let me tell you, folks, I have lived in New York City in 1988. In 1987. Okay? I knew of Donald Trump in New York City in those days. Ask the Central Park Five. This is why I understand Donald Trump when he talks his shit. And people are like, oh my God, how can he speak like that? He's an old school New Yorker. That's how they all talk. There's a channel holder on these YouTube streets that people might think is racist. But oh no. Apparently they're old school Brooklyn. So hey, his blunt type of talking, I'm kind of used to that. And trust me, I've seen racists, I've known racists, I've met racists in the North and the South, in the East and the West, and in different countries. But let's get back to rude, because if that's the case, everybody has a shrew mentality. And let's go back to New York City. If you compare New York City from 2019 to 1985 to 1991, ha 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 ha. This ain't shit. Okay? You come to New York City, you think people are rude. They nice as fuck. At least they smile at you now. Stop playing. It's only now that it seems to be going back towards that 80s kind of vibe, because you got a lot of crazy people out there just acting up for no reason. Anyway, let's get back to this shrew kind of society that we live in now, because it seems like everybody's rude. Everybody's vexatious, right? Let's look at these other words again, what these meanings are. Everybody acts like a battle axe. Everybody's mean. Everybody's low. Everybody's foul mouth. Shit, I cuss all day. What's wrong with that? Nah, yeah, that might be shrew-like behavior. But we got a gang of people that do that. And see, what I didn't like about these old school terms, right, is that back then, women couldn't be like that, but men could be. And men often treated these women in these clamorous, rude, mean, low, and foul-mouthed ways in order for them to Stepford wife up. And if you look at a lot of these cults or things like this, especially in the melanated communities, it seems like they fight this fight, right? They want to treat the women like shrews, or they want to try to do this shrew taming plot on women. And women are actualizing and being very happy that they're shrews. And like I said before, you have to catch a shrew early in the marriage, probably like the first night. Or else your shrew taming plot will not work, because by that time, the woman would see that you are weak. Okay? So, here are my questions for you. Are you a shrew? Do you have shrewish behavior? Do you agree that we live in a shrew type of society, and we also live in a shrew taming type of society? It's kind of weird, huh? You got the shrews on one side, and then you got the men and the women who do shrew taming plots, not only on themselves, but one another. And it's accepted. It's accepted. Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to be nice. I'm not. I'm not saying that everybody should not be mean or rude. I'm saying be balanced. No, I don't have to be mean and rude and foul-mouthed all the time. And yes, the word fuck can be used in many ways, happy and rude. Right? Nice. You are so fucking great. And mean. You fucking piece of shit. Right? Look how our society has changed. How many more male shrews are out there right now? How many women do shrew taming plots on men? How many men do shrew taming plots to other men? And I'm not even talking about, homosexuality or, bisexuality or anything like that. I'm not even talking about in an intimate relationship, because I personally think, now that I'm thinking of this, is that too many marriages end because too many men are trying to do shrew taming plots on women that were raised to be good ass shrews and don't take no shit. Oh, I forgot to mention one thing and I missed that. Okay, I really did. And I have to find it again because it's important. It's so important, okay? It really is, because, oh yes, here it is. Ha ha! I missed this part, y'all. Boop. So I did mention, shrew versus sheep, and said that the 1775 dictionary said that, a shrew is a peevish, malignant, clamorous, spiteful, vexatious, turbulent women. And he described the use of the word in reference to males as ancient. But modern use of the word shrew toward a man was like calling him a bitch. Yeah. There's a lot of bitches out there. A lot of male and female bitches out there. Whoop, whoop. Yeah. Yeah. So, what do we do? What do we do? We chill out in this shrew society? I'm just going to ask the basic question. Which side are you on? Are you on the side of the shrews? Or are you on the side of the shrew taming plot? You want to be the shrew tamer. I don't think it's as successful as you like. Yeah. We see a lot of shrew taming plots go wrong. Domestic violence is a shrew taming plot. Yeah. Yeah. To make them submissive and docile, like doggies. Yeah. And the shrews fight back. The male and the female ones. The good and the bad ones. So I guess for me, in my quest to be balanced, being a shrew should not be a bad thing, like Run DMC, not bad meaning bad, but bad meaning good. I'll just say it this way. I want to be that bitch, right? I don't always want to be a bitch. All right? But if you fuck with me, I can really be that bitch. But you can't make me a bitch no more. Yeah, I'm gonna activate my bitchness when I'm ready. And I'll never be a bitch ass. Even when I'm silent, even when I don't really say nothing. I'm learning to pick my battles. It seems like these old school shrew women, they didn't have any control over their shit. They just seem crazy. And if a shrew was synonymous to witchcraft, witches wasn't crazy, okay? They wasn't. Now, we got some shrews out there running amok. They running wild. They fucking bugging. I don't know what to do with them. I don't know. And I guess I shouldn't care. I just got to worry about the shrew that I look at when I look in the mirror, right? And if I live in this shrew-like society where simultaneously I can walk from one person and be in a shrew kind of society, sisterhood, anyone? Or I can walk over to the next person and they're trying to do a shrew taming plot on me. Or to everybody. And I'm talking about the psychological ones, okay? Because can't nobody make you starve. Well, unless you're in that situation. This is why I'm diverging away from an intimate relationship and just being external in general of basic society. Okay? Because an intimate relationship, that's different. We could talk about that all day. All day. All day. But I'm talking about, the shrews in society. Just in general. A woman puts a fist up or, makes that bicep like Rosie. Is she a shrew? Your female boss that don't take no shit. Or your grandmama. Somebody like Medea maybe, the female version. Is she a shrew? What about that guy who wants a whole bunch of wives to be submissive? And while he eats snacks and all kinds of food, they get one meal a day. What about those guys? What about them? The guys who do violence towards women in general. And what about those shrews that make themselves sleep deprived? Or will sleep deprive your ass? What can you do? What can you do? I guess all we can do at this point is just be aware. And if you haven't listened to anything I said in my yoga breakdowns, on my videos, the most you can do is figure this out within yourself and use this information to help you, evolve, ascend, grow in some way. If you notice that you're a shrew and you cool with that, use that shit to make you stronger, better, faster. You know what I mean? If you realize that you're a shrew and you're not very comfortable with that, well, then cultivate it in yourself to, exude some other things so you can balance that shrew out. Because remember, that's needed sometimes, especially in this society. If you like shrew taming plots, you might want to think about karma. Because in society, we do shrew taming plots to one another. I'm talking about the psychological ones, okay? And the physical ones like violence, yeah. Yeah. Anybody who does shrew taming plots or, go along those lines purposely to create Stepford women, Stepford wives, or Stepford men, sheep. I don't think I'm for it. I don't want to be a sheep. Okay? Because most sheep, once they go in one direction, they don't turn around and walk away. Yeah. Where are those animals at? Who are those animals? Let's find them. Maybe they're the shrews. All right, party people. I think I talked enough. I only want to do like an hour-long joint when it's my yoga breakdown. Okay? Yeah. What the day is? Today is January 3rd? Oh, yes, today is January 3rd. You know what that means in New York City. We don't say Happy New Year no more. We ain't got all damn day. We got shit to do. With that being said, y'all have a great night. Enjoy. Please don't get triggered by crazy people. I will do my level best that I do not. Have a great one. Bye-bye and later.